Hey my friend, Jonah here, and welcome to Lionsman Media. Today I wanted to talk a bit about a trend I'm picking up on in regards to niches. It might actually be obvious, but I did want to address it anyway because I think there are some opportunities here if we listen. And what really made this click for me was hearing two different creators, each talked about a different game series that they love and how they miss how those games used to be, even if they do find the newer entries to be decent. In both cases, it was mostly about the gameplay changing. As the developers decided to change things up, they left behind a lost niche in a sense. Now there are still people that want that old style of gameplay. Now whether there are enough people to actually justify a big budget title may actually need more research. But looking at the success of some indie titles that actually do go for retro feeling or older game design and how they have succeeded, there may actually be something here. And in a way of driving home, I figured I would share about 3 games I played a lot years ago and what the statuses of their niche might be. Now first up we have Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and it probably just hit right at the point of me kind of digging into video games in the sense of, because I didn't play them kind of played them all in my teenage years. I at least started playing them in my teenage years, still play them, but but it was just kind of like right in that section of kind of getting used to it and thinking it was fun and finally getting it, and then it just hit right. And having all these characters to choose from and powers that you could choose, and had to decide on, do I save for this or do I go for that, and so forth. And again, finding out about X-Men Legends later and so forth and the history with that, it's kind of like MUA has kind of this thing where they kind of refined it in a sense of making it more limited in scope, but still having that possibly an illusion of choice in a way, but still having you make choices, at least varied choices, where, because X-Men Legends 2 had like tons of powers and you also had to put the stats for each character, so you could get some pretty different things going with that. But while the Wii and PS2 versions of MUA2 did follow in the style of MUA, the next generation console, and I think also MUA 3, which I actually haven't played, so probably disregard anything I say on that title, but MUA 2, kind of due to the different development cycle and so forth, well, the different developers at least that they had, it was reduced to like just 4 powers, whereas each character in MUA had 8. And so there was a different gameplay change and a different feeling in it. And while it looked nicer and so forth, it was also more centered on Earthbound, whereas MUA was very much a tour of the Marvel Universe. So they both had different feels, in a sense. And then another thing I know about MUA is that it also kind of showed me about just how much modding can benefit a game when it's allowed, or when stuff happens, and how much the modding community can affect the game's lifespan. And it just sort of amazes me in a sense, because then a lot of games, like just take the bit one, Skyrim, it's like how much of the gameplay is just because people download new mods to try out. It's just kind of an interesting thing to think about in a way. But I'm not sure if there's a game that kind of has like the characters that you either love from something else or get to know during the game, and the different ways of combining a party to go through it. I'm not sure if there is one that fills that niche right now, or that's new, in a sense, because anyway, on to the second one, which is actually from Capcom, is Dacha Force. And the thing about it is that it's just kind of like almost childhood incarnate in a sense. It's like if you ever set up the G.I. Joes and the Transformers to go to battle with each other, that's kind of the feel of it. Because, again, the setup is very much like Transformers, where you have the Dacha boards coming to Earth to work with humans in order to fight off an invasion, in a sense. But again, they're like toy size, so they're working with kids. But the thing with it is that you're also going into these mundane areas in small size, and it's like completely different in a sense of kind of seeing things in a new angle, and it's just kind of fun. And it was simple gameplay, fairly simple gameplay. I mean, the strategy was basically you had character's point system and an order they would be put in, and also possibly picking a partner. That was pretty much it, besides just kind of reacting in a sense. But it was fun. And I'd like to see something similar, and there might actually be one with similar gameplay, but I'm not sure if it quite captures the childhood feel in a sense. So it's also an aesthetic, I guess, that I'm looking for in a way. And now in third place, we have Paradigm, which is from Epic Games, and you might have heard of it because of Fortnite or the Unreal Engine. And both of those actually have to do with in the story of Paradigm, because Paradigm was Epic's attempt at doing a multiplayer online battle arena, which, if you heard of League of Legends or Dota 2, I think it is, that's kind of what it would be, which is basically generally 5v5 game system, and it's about choosing characters and playing their proper roles and so forth. And it's pretty interesting, and it was in 3D, really nice graphics, characters are great, and in the midst of sci-fi and fantasy, and it just hit right. But Paradigm started experimenting, the developers did, with a bunch of different things and the systems, because they then had Fortnite, which was taking off in its battle royale form, and they also had this, but the thing is that with all the missteps, there just wasn't quite the thing they were looking for, I guess. So they decided to focus it all onto the battle royale and so forth to build that up. But the other thing is that since they had the Unreal game engine, they put all the assets and so forth in that marketplace for free. So the part of the story is that this niche is actually being apparently filled by 2 different games. And so I still have to do my research so that I can find out which one I would like to try out. But it's great to know that there is someone who's continuing it. And even funnily enough, running through these 3 makes me realize things about the games I currently play and about how the seeds were planted long ago, like just building up a collection of characters over a game or so forth, and having a bunch of different characters to try out and experiment with and so forth. It's just fun for me, I guess. So that's probably a hint at what games I like. But again, this is just me noticing things. Feel free to share your thoughts and insights, or maybe even recommendations on games if you feel like you know one that fits the particular niches I mentioned in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe to support the growth of this channel. And I'll talk to you later, and have a great rest of your day.